Life doesn't ask permission before it changes you. Sometimes it just shows up and takes something you thought defined you. On this episode of the Amped Up to 11 podcast, I'm joined by Zack Wannawong, a classically trained chef whose life and career were rewritten overnight after a rare infection led to the loss of his leg. Zack didn't just lose a limb, he lost certainty, momentum, and the future he thought was already mapped out. This conversation isn't about inspiration for comfort. It's about identity after trauma, fatherhood after loss, and quiet, difficult work of rebuilding when the life you planned disappears. If you're living with limb loss, walking alongside someone who is, or searching for what comes next after everything changes, this episode is for you. I'm Rick Bonkowski, and this is the Amped Up to 11 podcast where we explore life beyond limb loss. Hey everyone, welcome to the Amped Up to 11 podcast. I am Rick Bonkowski, and I have the pleasure of speaking to Zack Wannawong today. Zack, good morning. How are you?
Hi Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing well. And where are you in the world today?
I'm in suburb of Philadelphia.
Okay. And what's the weather like there? Because in Chicago, it's freaking cold. It's very, very cold.
What is freaking cold to you?
Freaking cold is in either the low teens or under 10 degrees.
Okay, we're at 25 each.
Yeah, and there's this new thing that's happening, and I don't know if this goes on in local news in Philadelphia. There's this quote-unquote feels like temperature that everyone talks about, where it's like, it's going to be 22 today, but it's going to feel like -5 because of the winds. And I'm thinking, oh no. And I go to this place every year in my mind of, why do I live here? Why am I putting up with this? And you know, it's funny because I keep saying to myself, yeah, you got to get out of this climate. You got to go work somewhere else. It would just be a blessing to not have to sort of manage the cold, which is tough for me. And you know, how do you feel about that? I mean, do you not mind the cold? And tell us a little bit about where you come from originally as well.
So I came from Thailand, which is like, we never have a cold weather. I would say we don't have like 40 degrees. In the winter, we at like 60 degrees. That's cold. And you know, since I moved here in the state, it's kind of like, ooh, this is like, I'm in like a freezer or something, you know. Even now, it's called like feel like 15.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. But I would think growing up in a very tropical climate, you acclimate, you know, to those temperatures, and your body responds to those temperatures. But then coming to the States, living in colder, you know, climates, I would think, do you ever really get used to it? Because I've lived in the Midwest my entire life, and I can honestly say, like, I'm not really even used to it. It's a shock to the system. Like, every time it drops under 10 degrees and the wind chill picks up, I go through that same sort of like cycle of depression of, oh man, this is like unbearable. It's painful to be outside, you know? And how many layers can you really wear, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I hate cold, just to be honest. Like, I try to skip cold. That's why I choose to work in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's nice and warm, right? You know, when all those burners are going.
I mean, like, the first thing you do is turn on everything in the kitchen.
Yeah. Heat it up.
I will park my car, and then I would have just like one jacket and ran to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Ran to my office and like turn everything on.
Yeah.
Like, just try to get like warm. I hate cold. It's just not for me. It's never get used to it. Like, people say, oh, been here for 20 some year. Oh, I'm getting used to it. No, I never, ever.
And how old were you when you migrated to the U.S.?
16 years old.
16. And I want to segue into some background on you as far as, you know, the culinary arts and sort of your upbringing and what you experienced in terms of food and
Mhm.
how that progressed in your journey, coming to this country and then very much having the background, the deep disciplined background in, being a chef. So
Right.
kind of walk me through, what bridges were built, between your homeland, coming here, making this your home, and then we can get into when things turned on a dime for you, because of course you're an amputee, and we're going to get into all of that. But I want the listeners to understand a little bit more about what was happening up until
Right.
2024.
So I came to America when I was 16. My background, just a little bit of background. My grandmother she's a chef, and she used to own a restaurant, like successful restaurant in Thailand. I'm from Chiang Mai, which is like northern of Thailand. So we have a lot of mountains, pretty chill vibe. You can stay in like the house in the mountain and just chill.
Yeah,
And which is like cold. I would say like probably like 60 degrees, like I said before.
I'll take 60
You know,
degrees anytime.
yeah. And then my grandmother always, we are a big family. And when I was probably like 12 or like 13, she would be like, hey, come in the kitchen, help me out and try to help, like, try to help me put the food up because she have to feed probably like 8 people, like lunch, dinner. So when I'm not at school, pretty much, we spend like 2, 3 hours in the kitchen just to get the stuff done for dinner or whatnot. She would teach me like all like whatever that she cooked, like mostly Thai food from scratch. Like, have you heard about like green curry and red curry?
Have I personally? Yes.
Yeah. So they come in America. They come in a can, like paste, like ready to go.
Yeah.
So what me and my grandmother was like, we just keep mushing the chilies until like they kind of like grind it like completely, and we use a lot of herbs, galanka, lemongrass, everything like in there, dried chili, whatnot, and make it as a paste that we can like put coconut milk in, and like incorporating everything to become like curry that you guys have. It take hours of like probably like 2 hours maybe just for one dish. So from that time, I kind of like fascinating. I was like, what is this? What is food?
So you got the bug really early about, okay, I'm falling in love with preparing food. I'm falling in love with the idea of food, what it represents, the craft, building that skill set of
Pretty much it.
being able to create, incredibly tasty foods and flavors. And then I would assume, given that, this was sort of passed down to you in terms of family, there's
Right.
there's probably a lot of sort of like cultural and just really beautiful kind of themes of sharing that with
Right.
people, family, friends, making people happy through food, which I think
Right.
the people that I know who are restaurateurs or people like yourself, who have a skill set, as a chef, they'll talk about sort of the psychological and emotional aspects of food, how food is life. And it's a huge connection point, with
Right.
people. Um, Coming to the States so young. And by the way, your English is fantastic. Where did you learn how to speak English?
Thank you. Myself, pretty much self-taught
So
because
was that before you came here, or was that kind of like once you came here, like, oh shit, I got to learn
I
English?
came here to speak a little bit of English. I mean, like, we learn in Thailand and we kind of like, oh, this is cool.
Uh huh.
I was like a top class for English, but when I came here, it just totally different.
Well,
I
yeah,
couldn't
you're like
understand
English is
the word
this
y'all say.
well, English is this mess of nuance and other languages, and
Yeah,
it's all kind of smashed together. So you got this big mashup of all these different cultures here. And I
right.
know for a lot of people that I interact with, especially in business, they say English is confusing because there are aspects of it that don't make any sense. And there's rules that are just singularly to English. So you can say, oh, vowels sound this way, but
Right.
then like in certain words, it totally contradicts some of the vocalizing of words or even some of the grammar of words. Because they'll say, what?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll say like, why is it spelled this way? Because according to this, and this rule, it should be, the A should sound this way, or
I
there shouldn't.
mean,
Yeah.
in Asia, we don't even say the same thing that we learn here.
Right.
Um, thank God I was learning from MTV back in 2000.
Yeah.
When those Eminem and you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg and all that people.
You were pulling culture. You were pulling it.
Yeah,
You were
I
saying, I'll
was
take
I was
that.
studying the culture. I was like, oh, this is what I'm dealing with. And,
Yeah.
and then I came here. My aunt owned a restaurant in Florida,
Okay.
so it's good opportunity for me just to move from Thailand. By the way, when I was in Thailand, I was homeschooled for the last 2 years before I came here because I played tennis like full time. Like, just my mom was like, "This is you not go to school. This is what you're gonna do."
Yeah.
And then I will study tennis probably like 8-9 hours a day.
Yeah. And we're going to
Uh,
talk about your wheelchair tennis as well.
oh, that's the new thing. But
Yeah,
we
we're
will
gonna
talk
we're
about
gonna
it
we're
later.
gonna cover it. I promise you. I want to understand. Like you came here. You're in Florida. Your aunt has a restaurant.
Yeah.
Give me the ladder. Give me the bridge that you crossed.
So I was just a dishwasher, right?
Okay.
I came here. I don't even speak English, and only thing that I can do, like, they will look at me cooking, and they were like, "Oh, you don't know how to cook. Let's go help the dishwasher." And I was like, "All right, whatever." Just I was like, one day I'm gonna go to that line. I'm gonna cook, and then I washed the dishes probably a couple months. Then someone's sick, right?
Here's my chance.
And she asked me like, "Hey, can you cover for me?" I was like, "Yeah, I can try. Like, if you teach me exactly what you want, I will give you exactly what you need me to do."
So Zach, I look at that part of your journey as a culinary person, and embracing your family, embracing this new environment. You're in the U.S. It's definitely not a really sort of comfortable place that you're in at that moment. You're still getting your sea legs, so to speak, and
Yes.
you've got this burning sort of obsession,
Right.
to cook and to be part of that, magic in the kitchen. Um, and some of this I see as building the skill sets for later in life. When you say, okay, once adversity, trauma, something really terrible happens to me, whatever that is, right? Because so much of what we learn as we grow as human beings,
Mhm.
sometimes we'll look back and say, oh, I think I was training for this all along. There was
Right.
something that I had to overcome, right? It wasn't necessarily the loss of a limb, but
Right.
you had to overcome some of those limitations, whether it was language, whether it was earning the respect of people around you, developing a very specific set of skills where you could get, move up the ladder and be hired,
That's yeah.
right? By
Yep.
real, and not that what your aunt was doing wasn't real, but it was certainly the minor leagues compared to where you ended up
Right.
as a
Like, what
chef.
what is in a different world of culinary is like the move to DC right after my aunt restaurant was totally different life. Like, it just you work with like 14 line cook, and how do you stand out yourself? How you want to be better or like even greater than the others. It's not about like, oh, I'm better than you. It's more like what do I want the most out of my job?
Yeah.
Some people think like job is just like, hey, I'm here,
I'm taking up
right?
I'm taking up space at the moment. Yeah, there's
I mean,
no what do I bring to this? How does I always think of people in terms of like the brightness of their light. Like
right,
how do I make my light brighter than the people around me? And not only to advance my career, but
right,
I always think of it as how do I inspire others to
correct, yeah,
level up,
right,
you know? So,
right, of course,
I mean, it's an amazing story when you think about it. Coming here as a child, learning your craft, ending up I mean, essentially you're on this fast track. And maybe in the day to day you thought, okay, well, I'm just going to work and I'm going to keep doing this and I'm trying. But when you look at it, when you look at the chronology of it, right? And
uh-huh.
I look at your story, because I take notes and I read, right? And I
Mhm.
say, okay, here's the arc, and you were definitely up, up, up,
Just
up,
slowly,
slowly,
slowly, yeah,
slowly,
yeah,
but in the course of that rise, in the course of that, slowly climbing Everest, let's say,
yeah.
April 8th, 2024 arrives. And that's when everything changes. And that is, a pretty remarkable set of circumstances. And why don't you describe to the audience what was happening in that moment?
That moment, let's back up, maybe back up 3 days before that. I was at the new hotel that I want to run. It was two hotel that need like a co-op executive chef that you can run both hotels, right? In Washington D.C., they want to open a brand new restaurant, and back of my mind was like, there you go. This is another opportunity to get Michelin star, right?
Yeah.
Since it's in DC, in Philadelphia, we just had Michelin star came like last year, right? So all my goal was like, I want to get Michelin, I want to get Michelin, right? And I was at the hotel, right? This is the same. I work for a $1 billion company that runs like probably 160 hotels, and those two was one of them. So I was like try to get a job there and move to DC for a bit just to see what my skill is and all that. And I was having an interview, everything went fine. I already know that is mine, right? You kind of know when you locked in.
Yeah.
When you locked in, you locked in.
Yep.
And then the day that I leave after the interview, I was feeling sick right away, right? I have a fever while I was in the interview. So I was like, like this is probably nothing. I just probably catching a cold because it's in the winter, not winter, but like it's kind of like in that time. It's like hot between hot and cold at the same
Yeah, but
time.
you brushed it
And
off like, okay, I'm under the weather. I don't feel that great. I
yeah,
got to muscle through these interviews. I got to keep doing my thing. But just
right,
like any other working person, we comfort ourselves by saying, I feel like shit right now. And that it just is what it is.
right.
But you had no indication like, oh boy, something's coming.
No, 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 nothing. Just sick. Drove 3 hours home, no problem. Okay. I actually bought Popeye while I was driving.
Yeah, you did a fast food run. Yeah.
You know how you like driving somewhere and you're like,
everybody,
I gotta stop to get something to eat. You know?
even the chefs out there eat Popeyes, just so you know.
All right, let's no, I eat okay. All right, I have to tell you this. When I eat pretty much shit food.
Okay.
No,
I only make the good food for my customers.
No, because you're at the restaurant, you eat Wagyu steak, you eat like steak like for lunch, and you have like a nice egg Benedict in the morning.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, I want KFC, maybe I want McDonald's. Like, what's up with that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is chef life, you know, like we've been eating good my whole life. So this is like, yeah. So went home. I actually, you know, like went home and then I actually go to see a doctor for, you know, maybe I'm feeling sick. Maybe I need a day off. I don't want to go into work and then being sick and then get everybody sick.
Of course.
You know, when you get one person sick in the kitchen,
yeah,
your kitchen crash.
Yeah.
So I get a couple days that I want to stay home. I send that to my job and that day I was, you know, I just passed out. Woke up to the new morning, still terrible, right? A little pain on my left ankle and my right ankle. Sorry. My right ankle was in a little pain, like sharping pain, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still can walk a little bit. I have before that 2 years ago, I got rheumatoid arthritis.
You thought maybe you had a flare up?
Yeah, something like that. You know, you didn't thought about it so much because you still take medication for it. So you kind of like, oh, it's probably nothing, right? And I think April 8th was in the morning of April 8th was like, I think it was midnight. And now I need to go like, I need to go to the restroom, you know, and I having so much pain on my right ankle, and I was like, what's up with this, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I walk back from the restroom, I just fall on my right side, and I was like, oh, this is getting worse. And you know, I was that time I was with my ex and my son at the house.
Yeah.
And I don't want to wake her up in the middle of the night. So we live in a fort, like the fort, this like the apartment, and it's like I'm on like fourth floor, you know. So it took me like 30 minutes to walk from the fourth floor to like the first floor, and I actually walked to my car. I was so stupid. I should just call ambulance, but I didn't thought it's gonna be like that.
You drove yourself to the hospital? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude! What are you doing? You could barely walk, and you're like, oh, I'll just drive myself. That's a good idea.
My car still parked at like the front of the emergency room. That's how insane I am. Like
so I'm assuming they run some vitals. They're like, okay, so what's going on with this guy?
It was like 30 people in the line, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I need help. I was yelling from my car. I was like, I need help. I need like at least wheelchair. And the guy walked in and he was like, oh, we ran out of wheelchair for you.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, are you serious right now? So it took me another 20 minutes to walk to the table, and they did the vital and everything. And he was like, oh, I believe you got to go in right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't thought about anything. So they put him in the room right away, which is great, right? And they did the test, blood test, and then they did a CAT scan because it's no indication that it's nothing. They don't see bruise. They don't see nothing. And he was like, this is weird. They run the CAT scan, and he was like, it was like this little thing on your right ankle, and he was like, I need to open it up and see. It's 50-50 between a blood clot and infection.
Yeah.
So you have to sign like you have to sign the paper right before they do anything. So
And does your wife at the time, is she aware of anything
my
that's
ex-wife, my ex-wife.
Yeah, so is your ex, is she aware of any of this in that moment?
No,
So you're just like
nobody knows.
you're flying solo in the middle of the night
Yeah,
trying to figure out why you can't walk.
I think I text my girlfriend so that I was at the hospital,
Uh-huh.
and then I text my ex. She probably still sleeping.
Yeah. Okay, so you did throw out a smoke signal and said, "Hey, just so you
I'm at the
know,
hospital.
I'm at the hospital right now."
Mhm.
And what's the period of time that they started running tests in terms of, minutes, hours that they induce a coma?
So the time that we talk about this blood clot or infection, it was at 10 a.m. already.
Okay.
So I already text my boss that I can't make it in because that's past the couple days
Yeah.
that I gave him the notice that I was sick.
Yeah, I'm in the
Like,
emergency room right now.
yeah, yeah. I'm in the emergency room right now. I couldn't go back to work, and I might have some kind of surgery, some kind. And he was like, the doctor was like 50-50 on that. So I signed the paper, went to operation room, right, OR, and that's the last time that I
Remember anything.
yeah, that's it.
And then
And then
you literally wake up how many days later?
20.
Unbelievable.
I know. I don't even have a chance to talk to anybody. I don't have a chance to choose.
You sign off on a test. Yeah, you sign off on a test where imaging reveals there's something in your right ankle. There's something there. Could be a blood clot, could be an infection.
Yeah.
Zach, we need you to sign this. We need to go in there right away and take a look at what's going on. You sign it. Anesthesiologist comes in, gives you the good drugs. You close your eyes, and you wake up 2.5 weeks later.
It's like the weirdest dream ever.
Can I ask you a question? Do you remember anything while you were in that that coma state?
I think I don't at all. It's just like I only remember a couple dreams that I had, and
Anything of significance, or was it just like like you took a normal night's sleep?
No. Yeah. You like at night. You like it's like a deep sleep.
Yeah. Like you closed your eyes, you went to bed, and you woke up. And rather than waking up the next day, you woke up 20 days later.
You woke up the next day. It feel like you woke up the next day, and then they came in with the paper, and then they asked me what date it is, and then and I just waved like I don't want to, like, because all the tube is still in my mouth, like.
Oh yeah, you're being intubated. So
Yep.
So you wake up, and I'm assuming you're trying to piece together what just happened,
right?
And I'm assuming that you're basing some of that on the reactions or the emotions of the people around you at that moment when you wake up, and who's there, and what are they doing?
The first I saw was, I think the first time I really saw was probably my family there. And then I couldn't call them, because you open your eye, all the tubes in your mouth.
Yeah.
I was my both hand tied on the bed.
Oh, okay.
Because they open up, like, this is my right arm, this is my left arm, like they open up, and then it's like the infection is spreading through my body, and
Because you
and I
were
was
at risk
kind
of
of
losing more than your leg, correct? Weren't you at risk of losing an arm or both arms? What was that?
both arms and the the right leg. Yeah.
Okay. So at what point do you finally and I've been in plenty of surgeries myself, and when
Yeah. Yeah.
when you do open your eyes, you're cognizant of only so much, and you might, oh, my family's here, or oh, my kid's here, but you're not really able to like make a connection or communicate. At what point are you delivered the news like, Zach, your right leg's gone?
I think probably the week after I woke up, because because I kind of remember that they talk about my right foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your reaction as a human being, you want to touch every single part of your body when you woke up, right?
Yeah.
Like when your mind is back to,
Yeah. You want to check yourself.
yeah, and then I check my left, and then I go to my right, and then it was empty.
Nothing's there.
Nothing's there.
What's the thought you have when you realize nothing's there?
I was in shock.
Yeah.
But thank God that I can't scream because still had tooth in my mouth.
Yeah. See, I love that you can. I love that you can laugh about it now. You know,
It's just funny. It's like
it's like,
you
what
can't
on
cry
earth is?
about it.
Yeah,
You
what on
know?
earth is happening right here? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
had a
so
leg, and now it's gone.
yeah, now it's gone, and I was like, holy moly! Like I couldn't say nothing, which is great. I couldn't. All I wanted, all I want to do was like just give me like some more morphine and just put me away for that moment, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course every 3 hours you have like extra morphine, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like my mind kind of think about it, but then like the medication kind of like subdate me from like
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Meds kick in, and then you go back into that kind of relaxed, like,
Right,
I don't
right,
care about anything kind of state, because that's
right.
what those heavy hitting drugs do. I've been on a morphine drip. I've,
Yeah,
I know that.
dilated,
Yeah,
right? Dilated,
yeah,
all those
where it
stuff.
just kind of takes away.
Fentanyl,
Yep,
everything.
it dulls all of those intense feelings,
Right,
um, which can be, therapeutic in a sense, because like you mentioned, the first thing you want to do is just scream,
right,
like, oh my, oh my, oh my God, like, what has happened to me?
right.
And how long were you actually in the hospital post-op?
Another month.
Okay.
Another month, yeah.
Yeah, another month. And I'm assuming during that month, you've got all kinds of different specialists, therapists, different people sort of processing with you what had happened, what comes
Right.
next. Uh,
I think they send like a lot of people like psychiatrists,
yeah,
and I was having a anxiety and depression, which has never happened before. But I think like the second week that I was like fully functioning, like my brain,
yeah,
and even my sister's a nurse. She's the one that always on the phone with them, like, this is what we're gonna do, and she's the one who tell the doctor like, can they save my both of my arms? So
yeah. So,
you know,
thank goodness she was there to advocate for the least amount of amputations possible.
right.
And so let's fast forward a bit. Um,
Hmm.
you've obviously shown a tremendous amount of resilience and courage, and you have somehow found a way to continue your life path and to move forward. And I'm sure in the mix of all of that, at least for myself, as an amputee, there are always going to be dark days.
Right.
There are always going to be days where we go to that, why did this happen? Why did this happen to me?
That's like the first like after you came back from, let's say, rehab, right? You have to go,
Yep.
right, go through all that, and then the rehab,
Yeah.
and then you kind of have a people come to you, talk to you, so you don't feel like you depression or anything. But when you came home and reality hits you like, what the heck is going on with me?
Yeah, I
You know,
think when
when there's
you
nobody talk to you,
no,
when
you're right, man. When
you know,
you get into that alone kind of space, and suddenly all the fanfare, all the hey man, you're gonna do this, and
let's go, you're gonna do great,
yeah,
yay,
all of that shit kind of
gone.
dissolves,
Yeah.
and then you're left with yourself and you
Hmm.
and the
In the
four
room.
in the
Yeah.
room,
Yeah.
and that's when the demons come, and
Oh.
that's when all the dark clouds sort of arrive,
Yes.
and you're thinking, who the fuck am I now? Like
Yeah,
what
like
am
who
I?
I am then.
Yeah, who am I? And what?
I think that it took me like 6 months, maybe 6 7 months to really grieve and
Yep.
understand like what I want to do next, because with my career I was up there,
Yeah.
just I was up there, I want to get up there. I made it, and I want more, and
You were
I
on your
even want
way.
more,
You were on your way.
because I've been inspired people already, and now I'm like back in my room and kind of like, what is this happen? Like I want to tell the listener like what they don't know. Like my amputee is called hip disarticulation. It's is more far than just amputation.
Yeah.
Is I don't have hip to to just like moving my right body to like try to walk. Even my prosthetic have hip that I need to control the hip, and then when I control the hip I have to control the knee. So it's two things that I'm working with PT and OT like pretty hard about it. And sometimes it kind of hit me like, why don't I just have like below knee,
Yeah.
or whatever.
This
So
is a really important conversation, and I'll tell you why.
yeah.
So often amputees will they'll mourn the level of amputation,
Right. Right.
and they spend a lot of time, thinking about, gosh, I wish I had this, or gosh, I wish I had that.
Right.
And admittedly, Zach, I'm a below the knee,
Hmm.
and I retained a good amount of residual limb.
Right.
And I understand that I'm very lucky. And the thing that I always tell folks, because very often I'll meet an above the knee, and they're like,
Oh, I wish.
oh, I wish I had a knee like you. And the thing I always tell folks is, first of all, it's not a contest.
No, it's not.
It's not a contest,
Hmm.
but someone always has it worse than you. Always.
Right. Always.
So I could say to Zach, yeah, Zach, it'd be great if you had your hip. It'd be great if you had your knee. But here's the thing. I know people that don't have their arms as well.
Right.
They maybe they're a sepsis survivor.
Right.
They were involved in such a traumatic event, something with an auto accident or something, and now they're a quad
Right.
amputee. And
Right.
I always press into that and say, we're all part of this community. We're all struggling based on our fitness level, based on our mindset, based on the resources that we have. And the mix of those things that you have versus me versus another person are a completely different set of circumstances. So we all have struggle. The question
Right.
becomes, how can we inspire each other given those limitations? We have to try. We have to try. And if that is a very, very specific type of prosthesis or piece of equipment, let's hope that you can adapt to that. If not,
Right.
that's okay, because you can be just as proud as an amputee who plays tennis in a wheelchair.
Right.
Okay? Because so much of our character and so much of beating this, right? Beating it into the dirt is about how we adapt and how we become the best version of who we are right now.
Now, yes.
Right now. Okay.
Right now, yeah. At the
So
moment.
I
Right
want to
now.
talk about how wheelchair tennis has elevated you and gotten you to a place where you're hopeful, you're more active, you're setting goals. Because all of those things that we engage, they tend to boil over and spill over into other parts of our life. Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
talk to me about, you had mentioned earlier that you had a passion for tennis. I'm sure
Right.
you were a beast, running back and forth on the court when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that feels now for you.
Can I go back a little bit about my?
No, you're not allowed. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness. The prosthetic. So I
Yes.
want to shout out. My first prosthetic was denial, and I working hard, and I reach out to, I think, almost every foundation, and Live for Life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've interviewed Randy.
Randy, right?
Yeah, one of the I believe he's the CEO of
I think he's the founder. Yeah, he
and the
is.
founder. Yeah, Randy Titoni, he's a fantastic guy. And
Yeah, he's the one who called me.
I'm so let's give a shout out to Randy. I'm so pleased that he was able to, help you in this
Right.
journey that you've been on for the last few
Right.
years.
Randy being awesome. He's the one who, he just called me right away. He was like, "We need to get you back in the kitchen."
Yeah.
And that's the first word he said on the
Yeah.
phone.
That's awesome.
And it's make me cry for 10 minutes. So
yeah.
He's a great guy, awesome human being. Live for Life is the good foundation. If anybody need help, just call Randy.
Limbs for Life, major shout out to Randy and his people.
Yeah.
There are many.
They do an amazing thing there.
Yep. There's many organizations, whether we're talking about, Tina Hurley's Less Leg, More Heart, whether we're talking about Steve Chamberlain, 50 Legs, whether we're talking about the Limb Preservation Foundation. There are resources. So if you feel isolated, if you feel like you have no options, there's no next step, please do some research. Please reach out to the communities, reach out to people like Zack, and find out, hey, are there any other options? Is there any way that I can get mobile again? Especially if you're getting the denial letters, your claims aren't getting approved. Remember, we are an underserved community, and we have to continue to fight for each other. And that's really what this podcast is all about.
Right.
So
you need to find, I think those foundations are great. They have all over around the country, and I know some people kind of like give up on, hey, I got denial for the 6th time, but people don't know I got denial probably 8 times in the whole year and a half.
Yeah.
I just got my leg 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Like the leg that they're willing to pay for it, know.
Right.
And I'm about to send the one that Live for Life send me, and then I'm gonna ship them back so another person can use it too.
Yeah, they can harvest the parts and they can repurpose those parts and make sure that someone else might be able to benefit, from those things as well. And
correct, yes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you driving that point home. Very important messaging, especially for this episode. So, talk to me about how tennis is going. Before we wrap up, I'd like to know, how that makes you feel when you're on the court.
So as amputee, we I think we all probably have feeling of pain, right? Like you have phantom pain, you have a foot pain, a joint pain, or whatever. When I'm on court, it's 100 miles an hour. You don't feel pain. you just want to hit the ball. That's like the best feeling that you do. I've been playing tennis my whole life since I was 13. Even even being the cook, the chef, sous chef, or whatever, all my free time I always play tennis. So, and now the problem, like you said, I'm a hip disarticulation, and it's I'm in the process of like try to walk and all that. But in the meantime, instead of stress out about like walking, I found like wheelchair tennis, and for me to adapt to it
Yeah.
is such an easy transformation. You only need how learn how to move with the wheelchair. You know, I reached out to USTA, Middle State. Shout out to them too.
Yeah.
They got me in with the team,
Awesome.
and now the team been supporting me with the wheelchair. With they're gonna have a tournament season coming, so I will be with the team and traveling around the country again
Look at that.
as the wheelchair tennis player, which is awesome.
It's fantastic, man. I mean, think
Yeah.
about it. It's like all of these things that you loved, you were passionate about, and I will tell amputees about this on the daily. Don't be afraid to revisit the things that you loved. It's going to feel different. It's going to
Right.
look different. Okay. You may have to start over again. You may have to start from ground zero, but what you will find is that you are just as apt to fall in love with that as you did when you were a kid.
Right.
Because someone will say, well, how am I going to play tennis again? Like, I love tennis. How am I going to do it?
How?
And it always reminds me, and I've written about this, I've spoken about this. The night before my amputation, I was talking to my my orthopedic surgeon, and I was not in a good place. I was all over the place. I was very wrecked psychologically, emotionally.
Yeah, because you're kind of like, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do.
It's the night before my entire life's going to change, and he said, "Do you have any questions for me?" And I think he meant like medical questions. And of course, I rapid fire. I'm like, how am I going to work? How am I going to drive?
And he was like, I don't know.
Dude, I'm just like, bam, bam, bam. I'm checking every box. I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And I swear to you, Zach, he looked me right in the eye and he said, I don't know.
Wow.
And there was a pause. and I had to like kind of lift my jaw up off the floor. I'm like, wow, this guy's really hopeful. He goes, but this is what he goes, but this is what I'm going to tell you. And he got really serious. And so, of course, I leaned in and making very strong eye contact. He said, you will do everything if you want it bad enough. That's what he said. And I received that. And that was enough for me to say, no matter what the outcome is, I'm going to build my life back brick by brick. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to let anyone stop me, And I look at stories like yours, you're definitely in that category of the everyday amputee, you're not a guy that's necessarily, looking for celebrity. You're not a guy that, necessarily is trying to build some social media empire.
I am though, and I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. You're like, you don't know my secret desires. No,
you don't know my secret sauce.
You're my secret sauce. You're a father. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You're a professional person. You're someone who's passionate about the things that you love. And you're relatively, and it may not feel this way to you because, I can speak like I've been doing this a decade. You're a pretty new amputee,
I am.
And I think when I look at you and I see you smile and I see you get excited about the things that intrigue you and you still have curiosity and you still have this desire to move forward in your life, that's the kind of energy that we need to put a spotlight on and say, hey, everyone, Zach's doing it. He's doing it. So
Right.
please take his story and please use that as your own energy to revisit the things you love, to keep the course, stay focused. Okay, the good things are coming, and we have to take our wins, but we also have to accept our losses and just keep moving forward in life. I'm going to ask you one last question before we let you
Okay.
go. What would be
Right.
the thing that you would say to someone if they were to reach out to you and say, Zack, I'm about to go through my amputation. It's, I'm worried. What advice can you give me right now?
I think like what advice I would give people, just be positive in your life, like sometime life doesn't get you where you want to be, but at the end of the day, like we have to go through what we have to go through, and just heads up, like chin up, and just try to process it. You still have family, right next to you, and some people, I went to the hospital and people were like, I don't know what to tell my daughter. I don't know if they're gonna help me. When you're amputation, everybody will pitch in. Everybody will give whatever that you don't have before, you will have it right here, right now. So don't feel bad that something gonna change. Nothing gonna change. You will have more support. You will have everything that you need to do, and just smile. Even you amputee and not amputee, you just smile. Just be positive on things, and just do the best you can.
Very wise
you know
words. Very wise words. I would say the theme of that is life is worth living.
yeah.
And, I appreciate you spending the time today. I'm excited about this episode and what it's going to do for the community.
Yes, sir.
With that, this is Zack Wannawong. I'm Rick Bonkowski. This is the Amped Up to 11 podcast. And I want to wish everyone in our audience health and happiness. And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.